This is the brief on the groundbreaking AI system known as Venori. So, what is it? Well, Venori is a privacy-first support system, and it's designed to fight back against chronic loneliness. And that's a huge deal, because global health authorities are now calling that a structural health pandemic. Okay, so first up, Venori is built on this one really powerful finding. The key to reducing loneliness is just the feeling of being heard. A study actually found that that feeling is 6 times more powerful than the AI's technical performance. So Venori, which means bringer of peace, isn't just another smart chatbot. It's a whole system designed for emotional support. Second, the system creates collective insights with its intelligence layer, which is called Continuum. Now, this is crucial. Continuum analyzes patterns, not people. This allows for policy to be informed by real experience, all without compromising user privacy. So finally, what keeps this from becoming a surveillance engine? It's all about its ethical model, called reciprocal intelligence. This boils down to 3 simple rules. 1, you have to consent. Data only flows up if you explicitly agree. 2, the data gets blurrier as the scale gets bigger. And 3, the insights benefit individuals and communities before they benefit institutions. By connecting our lived reality to collective insight through ethical design, Venori shows that big societal decisions can finally be informed by protected human experience.
This is the brief on the Ventri Talk module. So what is Ventri? Well, think of it as a digital support system, and we're zeroing in on its core component, talk. It's engineered around this really profound human need to just feel heard. And get this, research shows that feeling is more than 6 times more powerful than the AI's technical performance when it comes to actually reducing loneliness. So let's break down how it works. First, talk acts as a reflective presence. Its whole job is to help with emotional regulation and what's called cognitive offloading. Just getting things off your chest. And here's the crucial part. It's completely non-directive. It's not going to give you advice or judge you. It simply accepts what you're feeling to help reduce that emotional load. Second, the way it works is through narrative stabilization. The system captures your own language, your priorities, and then represents them to you later on in the right context. This process helps you maintain your own sense of self, and it really cuts down on rumination. It's kind of like an external memory that lets you get back to your own voice and intentions. And finally, talk is this essential first layer for the whole Ventri ecosystem. It provides a continuity of presence, but with 0 social obligation. That means no emotional labor for you, no pressure to reciprocate. By sticking to its ethical boundary, it is not a diagnostic tool or therapy. It acts as a supportive foundation that prepares you for real human connection down the road. By offering deep reflection and reducing our emotional load without any demands, Talk transforms the simple act of feeling heard into foundational support.
This is the brief on Venuri's core memory module, SAFE. So we're diving into the component designed to turn a huge risk, our memory, into a vital asset. It's basically a secure digital vault that you control, one that fights that feeling of fragmentation by preserving the information that truly defines your life. Okay, first, let's talk about what SAFE really does. You could call it a continuity substrate, but what it really does is help preserve your narrative identity. The actual story of who you are. When life gets tough, through things like illness or grief, that story can feel like it's breaking apart. SAFE helps by pulling together your reflections, your health records, your future plans, essentially externalizing your memory so you're not carrying all that cognitive and administrative weight. Second, and this is absolutely crucial, how does this not become some kind of surveillance trap? Well, it's built to be entirely user-governed. You are in complete control. It has explicit consent mechanisms, so you define who sees what. Plus, it prioritizes something called readiness over immediacy. This means it won't just throw information at you when you're stressed, it makes sure you're actually ready to receive it. And finally, you gotta see how SAFE is the foundation for the entire Venuri ecosystem. It's that stable reference point, that solid information base. It's what supplies personalized material for reflection and talk, gives consistent context for your support team and Connect, and helps you navigate services and pathways. SAFE transforms your fragmented personal memory from a burden into a structured, protected asset, anchoring your whole support system through intentional preservation.
This is the brief on the Circles framework, which is the really smart peer support layer inside Venori. So what is Circles? Well, think of it as this crucial bridge, right? It's what moves people from just thinking on their own to actually connecting with a safe, moderated community for real shared support. Okay, so first, Circles is all about creating deep connections based on a shared experience. This means it's not just about grouping people with the same job title or identity, it's about connecting folks who are going through the exact same challenge or feeling the same tough emotions. And that just immediately cuts through that awful feeling of being totally alone in a situation. Second, and this is so important, is psychological safety. You know, connection without any structure can be a lot. It can easily lead to burnout. So this is not some wide open social media feed. It's a genuinely moderated space with clear rules and boundaries, designed to be this collective holding space. And it's built specifically to prevent what's called emotional contagion. You know, that feeling where someone else's distress just completely overwhelms you. And finally, Circles is designed so that peer connection never, ever gets in the way of getting professional help when it's needed. It uses a stepped care model. Basically, that means peer support is a supplement, not a substitute. If your needs grow beyond what the group can handle, the system has these managed escalation routes to get you to verified professionals or specialized services, like those in Venori's Pathways feature. This model keeps collective support sustainable and safe by routing users effectively from shared experiences to professional care whenever necessary.
This is the brief on the Venori Connect relational infrastructure. All right, so Venori is this AI system that helps manage your well-being, right? Well, its Connect module really zeroes in on the hardest part of that, coordinating the people in your life. It's basically a trusted, structured layer that fixes that all too common problem of fragmented support, turning your network of family and clinicians into a system you can actually rely on. So how does it do that? First off, think of Connect as a consent-based address book. You define who's in your trusted circle and you actively control what each person can see and do. This is a game changer because it creates real clarity around boundaries, which cuts down on so much ambiguity and emotional friction, especially during stressful times. Second, the system is brilliant at coordinating time through a feature called Moments. These are basically time-stamped events, like an appointment or a shared activity. For each moment, Connect automatically pulls in all the relevant info, maybe reflections from another module or important documents. It just massively reduces the mental load of preparing for life events. And finally, it makes connections sustainable. You know that feeling when you need support but don't have the energy for a real-time conversation? Connect solves that. It enables this low-pressure, asynchronous connection so you can maintain relationships without the need for an immediate response or feeling like you have to perform. By structuring support around intentional roles and shared events, Connect turns your human relationships into a reliable infrastructure for well-being.
This is the brief on Venuri's Pathways module. So we know Venuri is this sophisticated system built to fight chronic loneliness, right? Well, Pathways is the critical part of that system. It's what translates your own insights into real, verified action out in the world. It tackles this in 3 key ways. First, Pathways is engineered to solve 2 huge systemic problems. One is that well-being services are just so fragmented they're all over the place. And 2 is the over-medicalization of very human needs. So Pathways consolidates all those scattered resources into one single trusted place. And, super importantly, it validates the non-clinical support, we're talking physical activities, social classes, practical help, as a core part of your health. Okay, second, the system actively prevents that decision fatigue that so often stops people from getting help. See, instead of an overwhelming open marketplace, Pathways uses smart curation. It gives you a limited but meaningful set of choices. This makes sure that when you're ready to engage, the decision isn't stressful or uncertain. Finally, Pathways acts as the essential bridge, making sure there's real continuity of care. It connects directly with all of Venuri's other components, pulling context from Talk, accessing records from Safe, coordinating logistics through Connect, and providing safe escalation from Circles. It just makes your entire journey from reflection to action completely seamless. By grounding insight in real activity, Pathways ensures that your move toward well-being isn't just a thought, it's intentional, supported action.
This is the brief on Venuri's Continuum module. All right, so Venuri is this platform all about human well-being. And Continuum, well, that's kind of like its brain. It's the core intelligence engine that takes all these individual emotional experiences and turns them into real, large-scale insights for society. First, how does it actually work? Well, Continuum is a privacy-first analytical layer, but here's the key thing. It analyzes broad, aggregated patterns of interaction, not specific people. And that's how it turns all those tiny user moments, those micro moments, into a huge collective macro understanding. Second, this insight scales across 5 levels. And what's really cool is that it always makes sure the individual benefits first. It starts with you, helping with your own self-awareness, then it moves up to help whole communities figure out common stressors. And then it allows places like your job to get an early heads up on things like burnout so they can actually do something about it. Finally, how do they stop this from becoming, a surveillance system? They do it with a principle they call reciprocal intelligence. It's held together by 3 core rules. 1, you have to consent before anything gets aggregated. 2, the higher the data goes, the less granular it gets. And 3, the insight has to provide value back down, meaning you and your community benefit before institutions do. So really, Continuum is designed to ground decisions, personal, institutional, and societal, in protected, lived human reality, not just in sterile data or averages.